Alright, baby. Welcome back. 3casess. Back better than ever. You already know. I'm dressed out my best attire. Got the Naruto gear on. You feel me? I promise I won't flash the video for the second half this time.
Unless you want him to.
Hey, striptease.
Yeah, striptease. But, as always, my name is AJ.
My name's Danny.
I'm Moncho.
And Ty.
And welcome back, baby. We got a little... In the spirit of Halloween, we have a little precursor to our Halloween special. We want to keep it spooky this whole fucking month. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're trying to do. We want to make sure that y'all are scared in your boots, shivering, and not just because you're excited to see me.
They're like, oh, Austin.
Hey, bricked up.
All bricked up. So, what we have planned for you guys is that we want to kind of make this like a little campfire episode. We're going to have some like spooky music kind of playing in the background. We have some scary stories that we want to. So, if y'all want to just kick back, relax, play this on your drive home or just laying down in bed or just doing whatever you guys are doing, we have some scary stories that we found that we might be super interesting for y'all. And
Grab some lotion, grab some tissue. This is going to be great.
and, we are experiencing some technical difficulties too. We're in the process. We're trying to grind. We're trying to persevere through all of this shit. We do need to buy some new mics though. That's for sure.
Yeah. That's fact.
So if y'all want to send some money, I'm just
Set up that GoFundMe.
PayPal's gonna be in the link.
Links in the bio.
No, but I think for this next, honestly I'm gonna save up. We're all gonna save up to just buy some new mics. That's all we need. We just need some new mics, and then that way, because we can try to just get rid of all this bullshit that we got going on. But
Facts.
enough of all the fucking logistical talk. Into some scary fucking stories. So let's get right into it, baby. Alright, so this scary story is brought to you by Western_database_529 via the r/scary stories subreddit. And this one is titled, Met Jesus last night, but something was terribly wrong. Last night I saw Jesus. Or at least I thought I did. It was around 3 a.m. when I woke up and got some water. The house was quiet, my wife and kids fast asleep. As I thought I made my way back to the bedroom, I noticed a faint light coming from the living room. My heart skipped a beat. We lived in a secluded area, and the thought of someone breaking in sent chills down my spine. I crept down the hallway, peeking around the corner. That's when I saw him. A man, draped in white robes, with long hair and a beard. He stood by the window, bathed in an eternal glow. I froze. It was Jesus. Exactly as I've seen in countless paintings on Sunday school lessons, but there was something unsettling about his appearance. "Do not be afraid," he said, turning to look at me. His voice was calm, almost melodic, but his eyes, they were empty, hollow, like black holes that seemed to draw on all the light around them. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. I just stared at him, my mouth dry, my heart racing. "You have questions?" he continued, taking a step closer. "I have answers." My mind was spinning. Was I dreaming, hallucinating? I didn't know what to think, but something inside me told me this wasn't right. The way he moved, the way he spoke, it was off, like he was imitating something. He didn't quite understand. Are you really Jesus?" I finally managed to stammer. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "I am what you need me to be." A shiver ran down my spine. The air around me felt thick, suffocating. I took a step back, my instincts screaming at me to run, but I couldn't look away. "I know your fears, your doubts," he said, his voice growing softer. "I can take them away. All you have to do is let me in." His hand reached out, fingers long and slender, unnaturally so. I glanced down and realized that his feet weren't even touching the ground. He was hovering, just slightly, as if gravity had no hold on him. Something snapped inside of me. Something wasn't right. This wasn't Jesus. "Get out," I whispered, my voice trembling. His smile widened, stretching too far, the skin around his mouth tearing slightly. "You don't mean that," he murmured. I forced myself to move, stumbling backward down the hallway. I fumbled for the light switch. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. When the lights flicked on, he was gone. The room was empty, the air still and cold. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. I sat on the couch clutching the kitchen knife, waiting for something, anything to happen. But the house remained silent. This morning I checked the security cameras hoping to find some explanation, some proof that it was just my imagination, but there was nothing. No light, no figure, just me standing in the hallway, staring into an empty room. I don't know what I saw last night. I don't know if I was a dream, a hallucination, or something else entirely. But I do know one thing. That wasn't Jesus. And I'm terrified he'll come back. Liberal Kirk! Okay. Alright. So what
Fuck
are our initial
that.
thoughts? What are our initial thoughts, our impressions? What's with it?
I'll let you go first, Ty.
As a religious person, dude, like, that sounded like something that came from hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, especially when it talks about, like, the long, slender fingers and, like, you know, like, his, like, face, like, starting to morph and tear.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
You think? Oh, honestly, you think? I don't know. What do you think, Mancho? Do you think?
I don't want him to come back. Just for company. Nah. Like, I'd be ready, like, Buzzball. Drink one.
That's
Just come drink with me. What do you think if you saw something like that? Would you, if you're hallucinating, or would you think you actually saw, Jesus?
I don't know. I don't like. I wouldn't say it's like a hallucination. I feel like that's something that's like real and that can happen to people.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like when you meet, I mean, the enemy is always gonna disguise itself to like what you want it to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I feel like in that moment, maybe the person who saw Jesus in that moment was probably like thinking that he wanted to see Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel like that's like a gateway to like open it. Obviously he did the right thing, but that's so creepy because like again, that could happen to any of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that can happen to any of us at any given night, and it can be it'll come at you with whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's almost it makes me think about like how we always talk about how like like skinwalkers and like these mimickers will always like try to mimic like the personality of someone that you maybe are wanting to see. Like I feel like some people who are super helpful they will mimic like someone who has a really helpful personality that's always willing to like extend a hand to help somebody. They're gonna mimic a child because like someone wants to help the child, or somebody in distress, or someone
Like an
who's-
innocent figure.
Exactly, or someone maybe who's like really religious. They're gonna mimic that thing.
Exactly.
So
I
it's
think I saw this thing like around like I think TikTok or something, and it's like a demon makes itself look nice to bring in people.
Like,
But-
open.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like an angel makes itself look scary to like ward demons away.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's exactly what this situation was.
yeah. That's fucking crazy. Imagine if you seen that shit. I don't know, dude. I'd be tripped out, dog.
Yeah.
Imagine, cause I'd be like, I walk around with my underwear, so like, I might fuck around and catch a boner, dog. Like I don't know. Like the heat of the moment, I might fucking.
Hey, yo.
He put his hand out and you're like,
I could be whatever you want me to be.
I need you
Yeah,
to
I got something for you to hold.
I need you to be still. No, don't say it. Shh. Oh, great.
Bro, like imagine if it disguised, like if your girl, was like, if it disguised itself as your girl. Big, yeah, give him back shots, and it just fucking 360 his head, like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, shit. Oh, shit, that ain't you. That was so hot. Do that again.
But I'm gonna keep going. Bop, bop, bop.
Y'all are so wild, bro.
I don't know. That shit would be crazy. If I saw some shit like that, dog, I don't know how I would act. That'd be some fucking crazy ass shit. I'd probably think like, fuck, how much did I have to drink last night? That'd probably be my first question.
Yeah.
not enough.
Big damn, those shrooms got
Not
to me
enough.
again, man.
But Macho, you're fucking. I feel like you have the same attitude every single time that you
Like scary stuff?
Yeah, like you just don't give a fuck.
It's because like I don't want to see more.
Really?
Like,
Why
you wanna-
is that?
I don't know, like make me believe. Like pull my hair. Like you feel me? Like
Bro, that's exactly what he said in that ghost investigation
No, like,
story.
yeah.
Spread your legs
I
and
want us
submit
to,
to me.
Submit to me.
Like someone could something could scratch me, and I'm like, I was just drunk last night. Like,
No, but I think that's a good point though, dude. Because I feel like if something were to happen to me, and this is like true to everyone, if something like crazy were to happen to them, I feel like everybody would try to make an excuse of like to what they're seeing.
Try to like debunk it.
Exactly. Like if like they had like this voice in their head, a voice of reason, like, oh no, that's not really what I saw. That was just a fucking, something that my figment of my imagination.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or I was just hallucinating. Like he said, like the OP said, like maybe I was just hallucinating, or I was just, just thinking of this thing. So I don't know. I've had some pretty vivid dreams, dude, where there's some people who can cross the realm into like dreaming vividly, who have full control over their dreams.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy in its own sense. But I think when you venture into the realm of, and maybe some of the people that are listening to this can share their stories. If you have any, stories that you guys had of vivid dreams, share them down below. We would love to maybe even read them on the next podcast.
or wet dreams.
Our wet dreams. We have Mancho specifically. But if you have any stories about that, like, we would love to listen to those, and we would love to even read them here on the podcast as well. So if you have any vivid dreams or any scary stories that may happen to you, comment down below. We'll even read them on the next one. But I think everyone who's ventured, at least me personally, when I've had my most vivid dreams, it's almost like the discernment of like, how did this, is this reality or is this a dream state, is the most mind-boggling thing that you can. It's so hard. It's like you can't even come to grips with it. Like, was I dreaming? Was I not dreaming? Or like, it's so like crazy, and it comes into play with deja vu.
Yeah.
Like, have I experienced this before? Or like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it's really interesting, and I think having that hallucination, and I think it's not outside of the realm. Have you guys ever heard of like truck drivers when they after a long shift? They go down to these truck stops and they see not these lot lizards. Get your mind out of the gutter, but like these shadow.
That was a scene.
But they see like shadow people. Like there's like if you like you look on
Really?
social media, like there's all a bunch of posts about how like when you're really tired, your mind starts to play tricks on you.
Yeah.
And so like you'll see things that are not really there, but you'll see like a shadow, a figure, and it's like your mind is like, I don't know. I think when your mind is, and the same thing with like sleep paralysis. Like the same thing with that. Like I feel like, how does your mind, like, dude, when I've had sleep paralysis, especially the craziest episodes I've had, I've literally felt like imprints of like people moving beside you.
Yeah.
Like, when someone's crawling up beside you on the bed, you feel the imprints
Or
of
like
it?
when someone sits down and you can
Dude,
feel the weight.
That's what I feel, and I feel it all around me.
See, that's
so
different though,
weird.
because I feel it like in my chest, like something like is sitting on my chest,
Yeah.
or like something's pushing down on your chest. You know what I mean?
And it's so crazy. Every single time I'm like, I know I'm in, like, because you can feel it coming. Like, you feel like it. For me, how I know I'm going to have sleep paralysis, especially my most recent episode, it was early in the morning, and I woke up, and like I was trying to go back to sleep, and like my girlfriend, she was in the shower, and I heard the shower going, and I was sleeping, and I just hear static, and then I just felt heavy, like I couldn't even move.
Yeah.
And I'm fighting, I'm like, whoa. And I get out of it, I'm like, oh my god.
And your
Oh my
heart's just fucking.
Have you ever like? Cause I know people have sleep paralysis, but have you ever had like a sleep paralysis demon?
What do you mean?
Like something that people see frequently when you're like having sleep
Like a
paralysis.
common figure.
Yeah.
Like a common.
So that's the
figure.
thing. I've never been able to make out something. I've always seen, every time I have it, there's multiple shadows. Like I feel the shadows, like I see them on the corner of my eye. I can see the shadows of people, but I've never. My most craziest experience with sleep paralysis, and I'll share this with you guys. I don't think I've ever shared this on the podcast. My most insane experience that I've had with sleep paralysis when I was a young kid, and I didn't understand what it was. I was young, and for those, kind of a little backstory to kind of preface this story was, when I was younger, I used to have really bad night terrors. When I was an infant, I would always wake up in the middle of the night screaming. I would scream, and my parents didn't know what was wrong with me. Like, they didn't know. They would always check me if I got bitten by spiders or if I got bitten by a bug or what the hell it was. So they took me to the doctors, and the doctor's like, no, he's fine. Everything checks out. No bites or anything. He probably just having night terrors. And that's not super common, especially for infants and child. Like, you don't just have night terrors. It happens occasionally, but I was having them frequently, almost every night. And me and my religious background, now that I'm religious, I feel like that's because especially when you're that young and innocent, a lot of the demon and negative energy tries to attach itself to you.
Yeah.
And it's like feeding off of you, and from that, like, it's a constant battle. And so that's why my night terrors developed. And as I got older, that night terrors turned into sleep paralysis. And this one moment, I'll never forget it. I was sleeping. It was super late at night. It was 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm laying by myself in bed. And I'd never had an episode like this before. And I'm just laying and I'm staring at the ceiling and I'm falling asleep. And I feel myself drifting off. And I felt like I did fall asleep. And then I wake up and I open my eyes and I can't move. Like, I can't move at all. Like, I'm sitting here trying to move. And my heart is racing. I'm like, oh my God, like, am I paralyzed? Like, what the fuck happened? And so I'm like, all right, now my next instinct is just to scream for help, like, scream for anybody. So I'm trying to, I can't even scream. I can't even talk. I can't even vocalize anything. And so, like, I can't even describe to you the type of fear that you have when, like, you're helpless, when you can't even scream for help, you can't even move. But then on top of that was when I noticed this figure that was standing in the corner of my room. It was in the bed, and I was sleeping on the bed, and it was over here was this figure. It was a tall figure, and it was laying there. It was just sitting there watching me, and I just felt it. And I was turned this way, but I could see it on the corner of my eye, and I just see it coming closer and closer and closer. I feel the indents on my bed, and it comes up right next to me, and it like fills up right next to me. And then I wake up, and I get up, and I just run. I run out of the room. I'm sprinting. I'm screaming. I'm like, Dad, Dad, Dad! I'm screaming like I'm about to die. My dad comes running out. He's like, "What the fuck is wrong?" And I was like, I can't even describe. I look back about, like, imagine how much of a panic my dad was probably in. I had no idea, thought somebody fucking broke into the house or some shit. But, like, I literally felt something crawl up next to me and sleep. And that just, to me, reaffirms the sinister aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know what, dude? What age did you have this at?
I was young. I was probably in middle school, so probably like 10, 11, 12.
Well, here's the crazy thing, right? When I was that age, I had something similar, and it was a little different, but this was when I lived in Blythe, my hometown.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, dude, I've been to so many doctors when I was a baby, and just super young, because I'd have the same thing, but like to the point where I'd get up and like just projectile vomit because I was in that much panic.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like, I had this like same exact thing, and I had a bunk bed, dude. My brother slept above me, but instead of it being like in the corner of my room, it came out of my closet.
Oh yeah, fuck that bullshit.
And like it was like, it wasn't even like slow, it was like quick.
Yeah.
And I got out of bed, dude, and I did the same thing. I ran to my mom's room, like, fucking busted open the door, and I was just screaming. Like, I didn't even, I couldn't explain. I was so young.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the fuck I saw.
I couldn't. He asked me what was wrong, and I was like, I couldn't move. I couldn't fucking move at all. It was weird. It was super strange, and it was a weird feeling.
So, have you guys ever had like a sleep paralysis where you're having sleep paralysis, but then you dream again, and then you dream that you got out of the sleep paralysis?
Nah, what the
So
wait, hold up, like a sleep paralysis-ception? Hold up.
Yes, yes. So I had this one time, and it freaked me out so bad. So I think that I was in high school, right? And this was like maybe like on the weekend or something, and I was taking like a midday nap in my room, and I fell asleep, and nobody was home. So I fell asleep, and then I remember waking up to my sister coming home, like opening the door, slamming the door. She's very loud. So I woke up to that, but then I was in sleep paralysis, and I couldn't get up at all, and I wanted to move, and I was trying to like call for my sister, and I couldn't call for my sister at all. Like you said, and then like trying to move, I start sweating, start panicking, and next thing you know, I fall asleep, but I don't even realize it. So I fall asleep, and my dream is literally me getting up from that bed, going to my sister and telling her like, oh, like, Alyssa, I just had like the worst sleep paralysis. Like, it was so bad. I was trying to call for your help and everything. And like, she was laughing, like she was responding fine. We were having a normal conversation. And then at the end, she like made this comment that like made me realize that it was a dream. Like, she was like, I was telling her about the sleep paralysis, and then she was just like, okay, well, how was your dream? And like, I never said anything about a dream, and I looked at her, and then that's when I snapped out of it, and then I was still I tell you, like, it was the most trippiest shit ever, because I was telling her like I was scared, but I'm happy I'm up, like I'm not going back to sleep and this and that.
Was it
and
vivid?
like, It was vivid.
That's so
and
crazy.
yeah, like we were having this normal conversation, and she was telling me about her day, and then at the end, like right before when I'm leaving, like right before when I'm turning back, going back to my room, she was just like, "So how was your dream?" And I turn back and look at her, and then I wake up, and I'm still having sleep paralysis.
That's crazy.
And it was this craziest thing ever. The whole room was dark, and I still couldn't get up. And like the sleep paralysis felt like it lasted for another 10 minutes, and then I got up. And then like I went to like my sister, and I told her the whole thing. And then I was telling her, I was like, did we not have a conversation? And she was like, no, like you never even came. Like you were asleep when I went to go check on you, so I just came back.
That almost reminds me of the red lamp theory, of like where people have like this entire life, they basically feel like they've lived 30 years, like they remember working jobs, they work every day of that job, they work 30-year careers, they have, they go home to their wife and kid, or go home to their wife, they have a family, they end up having kids, they raise those kids, they go through struggling, worrying about debt, worrying about saving up money, buying a car, buying a house, growing old, saving up for retirement, and then one day they're sitting in the basement watching TV, and as they're watching this TV, on the corner of their eye, they see this red lamp that they've never seen before. It's just this red lamp that you never really pay attention to it, but for whatever reason it caught their eye this time. And so it sees this red lamp and it looks a little fuzzy. You're like, why does this red lamp look fuzzy? It's looking kind of weird, but you don't pay any attention to it. You keep on watching TV, and then you just notice that it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and this red lamp is getting bigger and bigger. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, why is this red lamp? Am I tripping? I should go to the hospital. And so this guy, he decides to sleep it off. He's like, oh, I'm just gonna go to bed, and if I wake up, it will be better in the morning. And so he wakes up in the morning, and the red lamp is still there. It's still fuzzy. It's still big. It's still out of place. Like, everything else is clear, but this one red lamp is fuzzy for whatever reason. And so he tells his wife about it. He's telling him, hey, like, I see this fucking red lamp, and it's fuzzy. It's weird. He said, oh, honey, you should go to the doctor. You should get it checked out. And so they go to the doctor. They run all these tests. They can't find anything wrong with him. They're thinking cancer. They're thinking a brain tumor, but they can't figure out what's wrong with him. And so he just feels defeated. He goes back to the basement, and he's watching this red lamp, and then he's noticing it, and it starts to just encompass his whole vision. His whole vision is this red lamp, and then all of a sudden he wakes up, and he's laid down on his back on a football field, and he had a concussion.
No way.
And he wakes up from this concussion, and he's like, oh, where's Janet? Where's my wife? Where's my kids? And they're like, dude, what are you talking about? You're 23. You play football at a college D1 school. You just had a concussion.
That's exactly how my dream felt, bro. Exactly how that dream felt. It was insane, bro.
But yeah, that just brought me to that. But we got another story for you guys. I hope I'm feeling good about this, right? All right, let's get on to the next story, baby. We feel right and ready. Let's go and get it.
All right. Pardon my narrating skills. Wait, hold up. I think you muted the wrong one. Hello. Okay. So this next story we got for you guys is called Something is Wrong with My Family. And it's by JP05178 on Scary Stories by Reddit. So this starts with, I've always been the outsider in my family. Being the youngest of my siblings, I am nothing like them in personality or my looks. They always tease me about being adopted. My childhood seemed decently bright, although none are perfect. My parents seemed loving, and so did my siblings. But recently, there's been something off. Maybe it was always there, but I never noticed it before now. It started 2 months ago when my dog got hit by a car. Damn. I came home and my mom was waiting for me at the door. When I came inside, she told me that my dog had been killed by a car. She seemed genuinely sad for me, and she gave me a hug, and she told me she was sorry. But I noticed when I looked in the reflection from the mirror on the wall, I walked away and their face didn't look sad. She seemed happy, with a happy smile on her face as she looked at me walking towards my room with tears in my eyes, as if she was glad she saw me suffering. She had this look in her eyes I've never seen before. It didn't look like my mom, more like a face I'd seen in a nightmare. I was surprised when I turned around to see her face completely sympathetic and sad for me. I couldn't help but look confused. But she asked if I was okay, and I said yes, I was. But I felt uneasy about it. Though I chalked it up to me being too upset and sad, I wasn't thinking clearly. The next time it happened was 2 weeks after that. I was in the kitchen with my sister slicing a tomato to use on my sandwich. But when I accidentally sliced my hand with a knife, a few drops of blood fell on the counter. and I dropped the knife and turned to wash my hands. I went to the bathroom and put a bandage on my cut, but when I returned I noticed something strange. The spot on the counter where my blood had fallen had no blood on it, but there was a small wet spot where it had been on the counter. My sister was pouring a glass of orange juice and asked if I was okay. I said I was, but I felt extremely anxious for some reason. I noticed she had a little blood on her finger, and I asked her why. She said she grabbed the knife and put it in the sink after I left. I don't know why I thought this, but I felt like she'd licked off my blood from the countertop. I checked the kitchen rag to see if it had just been wiped up, but it was dry. I felt like she was staring at me all day for the rest of the day, and it terrified me. The knife had no blood on it either, and it was in the sink. In the last month, I've heard my dad and mom both laugh several times about made-up scenarios where I would die in perceivedly humorous ways. But when I mentioned that, it felt inappropriate. They said they were only joking, of course. They said they loved me very much. The amount of laughter that indulged in over this seemed disturbing, as they've never been prone to laughing out loud at anything. And the scenarios were very graphically detailed and gory sounding, which came as a shock to me from my parents who have never, to my knowledge, liked gore or morbid things. I keep finding my mom talking in private with my two sisters in their room, more than usual, and my sister always look at me strangely when I walk in on it, with my mom yelling at me to please not disturb them while they're talking privately with an angry scowl on their face. She always comes to me later and tells me she's sorry for overreacting, and it feels odd when she does. She says it with the most blank face, but sometimes she looks amused. I feel unwelcome in my own home, like they don't want me here, even though they've given me no reason to think outside of strange behavior. But the most shocking thing I've seen yet happened last night, and it's the reason I'm posting this. It was in the middle of the night. I heard something coming from downstairs at 2:32 a.m. and decided to go and look. I wish I had it. I saw my mom, my dad, and my two sisters huddled in a circle and praying, or at least it looked like a prayer. There were a few candles in the room that cast a dim light on the scene, but it didn't seem real. I was peeking around the corner from my stairs, and they couldn't see me as their eyes were closed. My mother seemed like she was chanting something in another language quietly to herself, while my sister and father seemed to be shaking and occasionally whispering something. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They'd never been religious, and I don't even know what religion this would be. The chanting from my mother got louder and louder until she was almost in a speaking voice. Then there was a whooshing sound and all the candles went out suddenly. I was trembling with fear, and I felt suddenly I was being watched. I had my eyes closed and looked away, deciding what to do. But when I opened them, my mother was standing directly in front of me. Her eyes completely black, and her voice didn't sound like her voice. It sounded like a man's. She said, "Is everything okay, honey? You should be in bed." I was breathing hard and trembling, and I couldn't speak. Suddenly, she opened her mouth and screamed at my face, "Go to bed." And I must have blackened out. When I woke up in my bed, the sun was coming up. I could hear my mom and sisters laughing downstairs while they ate breakfast. I'm afraid to ask them about last night because I almost feel like it's a bad dream, and if it's not, I don't want to know any more about it. I'm scared and I want out. I think they're gonna kill me.
Damn. That was kind of crazy. That was actually kind of insane.
What do y'all think about that one?
That was a fucking wild story.
The fucking hair on my neck is standing up. I'm sorry, but that actually got to me.
That's trippy.
That's probably has to be like my biggest fears. Like probably like people that you know that you always like see them every day. It's interesting that they like he pointed out how like the mannerisms, like they don't laugh out loud, or like they're not really prone to like morbid things. Like you know how they act, and it's like almost
and they're not religious.
Exactly, and now you just see them. Oh, dude, I don't know what the fuck did that. I'd probably go in there and join them just to like.
That's crazy.
Hey, y'all smoking up?
Yeah. Oh, y'all smoking that shit?
I see a light, bro. I see the candles lit. What's up?
But we got some crack.
but
I brought the spoon.
Let's say this was happening to you guys. Like, what's your first initial thought or like action in this point? You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, I'm shooting up the whole place. I'm sorry. I don't care. Everyone's getting lit up. We all going murder
Oh,
suicide.
yeah, I'm with him. I'm airing that bitch out, dude, and I'm leaving.
And then I'm asking questions later.
Yeah.
What do you think, Munch?
I just watch them. I just sit there and be like,
But no, like, what would be like your like? Imagine if you're noticing these things. Like, imagine if you like maybe not that drastic, but you notice like certain things. Like maybe they're
like change, like how they're acting
yeah,
and all that.
like just things they don't normally
Like
do.
they kind of love you. Like they kind of like seeing you like sad or
Oh,
like,
sad.
suffering.
But also they just their mannerisms is different. They don't, they're,
Like
they're
almost
acting
like they
different.
indulge in a negative energy.
Would you just think that you're just overthinking shit, or would you just?
Yeah, I'd probably be overthinking it. And be like, they probably have addiction. I'd pull out the Zins. And be like, hey, take one of these.
You need to relax.
Yeah. I feel like in this story, like I don't know, it seems like the whole family turned left, and I feel like it seems like this person is scared that he's gonna be used for like a sacrifice or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting that they're obviously alluding to like a demonic chant. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Like kind of what they're alluding to there.
It was like with the blood.
Yeah, right.
That's
kind
weird,
of fucking
right? Like there was
crazy,
no
dude.
blood. Like she kind of like ate the blood or like.
I don't got any blood there.
He did it twice. I know. Like we didn't see it.
Back within seconds.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, I don't.
He went, type A.
Oh my god. Okay, but I can't even form it. I can't even talk. Okay, but what would you guys? Okay, so like at the end, how he said there, he said that his mom was talking to him, but it was a man's voice.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be so fucking crazy, dude. Imagine if you just walk in the middle of the night, you saw your family doing a fucking satanic ritual.
Yes.
Bro, I would fucking lose my mind, man. I think there's always something scary. What I was trying to say earlier is I always think there's something scary about like like seeing people that you almost kind of trust.
Exactly.
Like some people that you find like almost safety in. Like like I feel like imagine if you were like in a random place and like a bunch of people and then you saw your sister or you saw your brother or you saw your mom or your dad. Like someone you recognize and someone you're like, oh fuck yeah, somebody I know, somebody I can, we can get through this with. But imagine being in a house and it feels like you're the only person there.
Exactly.
Dude,
that's what I'm saying.
So scary.
That's so trippy.
And
man.
I do sometimes. I always have this weird. I don't know what you would call it. It's not fantasy. I always have this weird. Just
Hold on, let me stop you.
I just had this weird fantasy like my family would tie me up and just summon something to
just do whatever.
like, blow my back out.
Like I wouldn't fight them. But like sometimes I had this really when I was younger. I used to have this thing where I struggled with the idea of death.
I did too.
Yeah, so like sometimes I'd be laying up at night, and I'd be like, man, this shit is gonna end one day, huh? And like,
Yeah.
No, that's really how those thoughts hit, though.
and I'd be laying up in bed 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I'm really gonna die one day. This is gonna be it. I don't know what's gonna happen at the end of it. And this is before I found my faith in God, but I was like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Like, I'm just gonna be floating in space or some shit.
Yeah.
Or it's just gonna be eternal sleep. And I'll just start getting panic attacks. I just like
Super lonely,
yeah,
depressing.
and then I'll get up and I'll just walk the house alone, like in the middle of the night, and it's like I feel like that's almost kind of like that feeling where you're just walking around like in the panic mode and not really knowing have anybody that you can trust. And then I don't know, I always felt like the house was almost eerily like quiet, like super quiet, like almost like I'm always a big believer like the other side always feeds on the type of energy you're giving. So if you're panicking, you're scared, and you're fearful, that's almost like, oh yeah, now's our time to pounce, and now we're gonna feed into those.
And that's why I feel like this story too, like it ties into that too, because I feel like the more he started to see things, the more he started to point things out, the more he started to get like fear, is when it started to get worse and worse,
Stronger
and worse.
and stronger.
Yeah,
and stronger.
like you said, like the negative energy feeds off of
Feeds
that.
off
And
of
again,
that.
it's almost like they like sensed it
Yeah.
and just continued to be like, oh, let's fuck with him.
Yeah, exactly.
But imagine getting off by your own mom. Like, imagine that shit, dog.
Dude, I'll give her the meanest elbow. Respectfully.
The people's elbow from the top rope. Swanton.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. That's funny. That was actually genuinely scary. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like,
Yeah.
I for me, I grew up listening to creepypastas. That was actually a pretty good story.
That
Like I actually really liked that one.
I didn't even want to finish it.
I don't know what's gonna happen. You ever seen those? You ever seen those people where they're like reading scary books, and they're reading the book, and they're like, "Oh no, I can't read the next sentence." It's not like a scary movie where it's gonna jump out in front of you. You gotta read the motherfucker.
I don't want to tell you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
My mind saw it. But I can't comprehend it.
Yeah. That's so
Can't make out these words, bro.
But I don't know. But it definitely makes it eerie. I'm spooked out right now, guys. I'm a little
spooked out too. I mean,
Oh,
that
that shit
first
definitely
story.
got
Should we
to me,
just strip
especially,
down and
like,
cuddle?
I got the baby oil.
But we just got done with True Story. I think we want to do. Ty said he has a poltergeist experience that he had at the railroads, right?
Oh, what?
Poltergeist,
No, an extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial.
experience.
some ET type shit.
Yeah,
So let's go ahead and get into the next story, huh?
let's do it. All right, so basically, for anybody that doesn't know, there's this trail. It's a local trail, and it's called the Cross. And the reason why is because at the very top of the trail, there's like a huge cross that people they go up and dedicate people's lives to it that have passed, or just in general. And it was me and like two of my good friends from high school. So we went there at like 3 a.m. We were planning to go work out, but we ended up taking a joint, a couple beers. But no, we were going up, right? And the way it works is like when you get to the parking lot, it's like this huge like dirt lot, and you have to go like another 50 feet before you can even get to the start of the trail. And when you get to the start, it's like this little gazebo area. It's got a water fountain, a map of the trail, because the trail actually links up with another one. So we get there, everything's cool. We have a beer. We're like, okay, let's go ahead and run up. Let's go have some fun and whatnot. So we get to the top, and when you get to the cross, you can go down the hill just a bit, and there's this place that they call the yin yang, and it's basically a big concrete like platform with a yin yang on it. So we're chilling on that, and keep in mind this is like 3 or 4 in the morning, so it's like late as fuck. There's no cars out, no nothing, and you can see the entire city. And we started talking about like aliens and shit, so we were like getting into the stories and whatnot. And one of my buddies was like, hey, there's like this show that I watch, where you can like contact aliens. And I don't know why this fool carries a bunch of shit in his bag, but he has like a tactical laser and like strobe lights and everything. I don't know, it's weird. But he pulls it out and he's like, hey dude, like, we should follow instructions, let's contact some aliens. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So we started doing like Morse code and shit into like the sky and whatnot. And like eventually we were like, yeah, this is fucking stupid. We're retarded. And pretty much, I think where the suspense started was like there's this long stretch of road, and it's called Highway 74, and it goes up a spiral mountain. And like we saw every type of like first responder you can think of, like ambulance, fire trucks, cop cars, like all sorts of shit. And they were coming from every like part of the city, and it was so weird. But they were all we probably saw like 30 different like vehicles go down that same strip of road. But what we realized was like we were like, oh yeah, there was probably a crash up there or something, something fatal, like something big. What got to us was like the fact that they disappeared halfway. Like they just vanished. And like an hour goes by, dude, and we're like, wait. Like none of them came down. So we're tripping balls. We're like, no, it's a really bad crash, or there's probably a fire up there. It's something. We're trying to debunk it. And so my buddy, one of the guys goes down the hill, and he's like, trying to look at this like water facility or something. I don't know. He was fucking around. And then my other buddy is standing at least like 6-7 feet away from me. and he looks at me with this fucking look, and he's like I'm actually get like shaking right now, but like he like looks at me and he's like, dude, I can hear your heart. And like in that minute, like, you ever put headphones on with no music and like it just sounds like quiet? It sounded like that, and I heard like a thing, and like it was his heart, and I could hear it. And he's like 7 feet away from me, keep in mind. And I like, he realizes that I can hear it, and he's like, "Hey Pat, we need to go. Like, we need to go. You know, I'm not liking this shit. We need to go." So, you know, he's like, "Oh, you guys are fucking stupid. Shut the fuck. You guys are just high." And we never smoked a joint. And, you know, he was just like tripping and whatever. And we get back up to the cross, and then Pat turns around. He's like, "Hey, dude, you guys see that shit?" And there's like I want to say 400 yards out in the middle of nowhere. This is all mountain range. There's no houses. There's a blue light, like a spotlight or something, and it's like facing directly towards us. And we're like, "Oh, you know, that's probably some, like, it's part of a facility, or it's probably like a patrol car or whatever." And we're just like fascinated by this light. And like, I'm over here like, dude, we need to go. Like, I'm really not liking this shit right now. And this white light, the same size, comes on right next to it. And we're just like, oh shit, what the fuck? It's kind of weird. And then Pat, the dumbass, decides to go, "Huh, you imagine how funny it'd be if it turned off?" Turns off. Yeah, but so basically we're looking at this light, and it turns off, and we're like, what the fuck? You know, after he just said it, like not even like a 5-second like delay, like as he said it. And you know, we're still fascinated by this light, and we're just like just frozen fear, but like in a weird type of fear. And it turns on again. And then Pat, you know, is like, "Okay, yeah, you know, like, I'm down to go. You know, like, I think I'm understanding what you guys are saying." And then Logan goes, "Nah, I don't believe this. Like, there's no way." And he goes, "Okay, there's no way they can hear us. It's too far, way too far." So he goes, in a monotone voice, not shouting, not screaming, nothing. He goes, "Blink 3 times if you can see us. Blink, blink, blink." Turns off, both of them. And we were like, yep, that was the cue to shut the fuck up and walk. So we turn around, dude, and we're walking down the mountain. We're trying so hard to change the subject. Like, we're trying so hard. We ended up talking about just random shit. And then Pat's dumbass decides to go, "Oh, what if it got closer?" And for those of you who don't know, the bump and grind trail is the trail it's connected to the cross, right? So it's on the other side of the mountain. We're walking down, and we see the same 2 lights on the other side of the mountain, on the other trail. But this time they're both white. And we're like, what the fuck? You know? So we try to, like, you know, ignore it, and we get down to the gazebo area. And pretty much, right, we're looking at these lights, and they're starting to move up the mountain. And this mountain is huge. Like, it's big. And, you know, he keeps like making this joke of like, "Oh yeah, what if it gets closer?" And then it disappears behind like this big rock, and then it moves closer. Like, it's visibly closer. You can see it's closer. And then within a blink of an eye, it disappears around like a part of the mountain. And then, like, I want to say, like, not even a second, it's already on the top. It reveals itself on the top of the mountain. Like, on the very peak. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, this is trippy. What is that? You know what I mean? And then this was like, I want to say like 4:30-ish. So we're like, okay, we need to go, because there's something wrong here, and like, I'm just not feeling the vibe. And as he said that, this huge flash, like, out of nowhere, just like almost like a camera flash in front of your face. But it was so weird, because we're under a gazebo, right? And it's a steel gazebo. the light came from in front of us, above us, and above the gazebo, all at the same exact time. And it was like that, like a camera flash. And we all looked at each other like, what the fuck? What was that? Because we looked behind us, we thought someone was there, you know, with a flashlight or something. And then Pat's like looking up like, oh shit, you know, like what was that? And then we all like, I don't even think we grabbed our bags, dude. We just got up and left. We ran to the car and we got in the car. And he goes, wait, what time were we sitting there? And he goes, we were there at 4:30. He's like, dude, it's 5:03. And we were like, no, your phone's fucked up. And then we all pulled out our phones and it all says 5:03. The sun's starting to come up. So we're like, what the fuck? Like, no, like we're tripping balls, dude. We just need to go home. So we all went home. And pretty much the next day, like it was just normal day. None of us hung out. We all went to sleep. Normal night. And we all woke up at 3 a.m. and we all had like a similar dream. It like all of our dreams were connected in a way. And I know that because Logan texted Pat, and then Pat texted me at 3 a.m. because like I woke up drenched in sweat, dude. Like I mean like cold sweats drenched. And I wasn't sick or anything. But I had this dream, dude, and like the dream was basically like we were on the trail. And it was us like, and get ready because this is about to confuse the fuck out of you. But it's the best way I can explain it. So imagine moving forward, but we're walking backwards.
What the fuck?
And you can't see our faces. Like our backs are turned, but like almost like backstepping, but we're moving forward at the same time.
Like when you zoom into the camera.
Yeah. And it looks like we're walking on a treadmill, but we're actually physically walking. And it's all three of us, and we're all in sync and everything. We're all wearing the same thing. And the surroundings, dude, it was the valley, but it looked different. It looked like just like red vines everywhere and like weird looking like plants and shit, dude. It looked fucking weird, and it looked like a huge like ocean, but it was like a bluish green. And we had these figures above us. Like almost if they were like spectating us, like a sport. And they all had like these long robes, dude, and their heads were like huge. And it was so weird. And then I just remember waking up from that dream, and I remember like feeling like cold. And it was so weird, dude. I couldn't explain it. And then hear this, right? A week went by. And me and those two friends and like a couple of our other high school, like a little group, we took 2 cars and we took them to McDonald's. Keep in mind, this is like 11 at night, right? So there's still people out. It's still a little active, right? And pretty much there's this car that pulls up, and we're like eating on the back of our cars in the parking lot. It's a brand new car, doesn't have a license plate, and like it's brand new, like as if it was taken off the lot. These 2 dudes get out, and they're both wearing black suits, like suit and tie. And the trunk is facing us, right? And I remember being turned around, like eating my food and everything. And I remember hearing the biggest like click clack from a gun that I just heard a huge like. And then Pat like instantly walks past me. He's like, dude, he has a gun. We need to go. Dude, this motherfucker had the biggest clip to a pistol I've ever seen. And then the other had like some sort of like it might have been an AR or a shotgun or something. I don't know. I don't know. But they were trying so hard to hide their faces. And then Pat, me, and the guy that was also there, as well as another friend of ours, we all hopped in the car, dude. And like I remember my phone was on the back of the car, and all of our food was too, but I just skirted off. And the guys in the other car took off as well, and they started following those guys. They didn't follow us, thankfully, but they followed them. And I just remember going back to get my phone, once the coast was clear. But it was just so fucking weird, dude. Like, just I don't know. We agreed to all like not talk about it, but it was just like the weirdest experience I've ever had in my life.
That's so crazy because I feel like extraterrestrial stories like that are so like it's hard to like recreate someone's mind in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that time, that 3A time, especially in like Highway 74, if none of y'all been up there, it's dark and it's secluded. There's not a fucking thing up there.
No, there's not.
And the fact that you guys like made contact with something,
Yeah.
like it was obviously something,
And it followed.
and it followed you guys. And there's also this kind of like Men in Black theory.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I
That's
thought.
Which
what I
a
was
lot
thinking.
of people, and I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on. If the government is willing to allow the discussion to be that there are proof of life that is not from this earth, right? So that what I mean by saying that is that if they're willing to go in front of the public stage, i.e. Congress, or Senate hearings, and debrief the populace on proof of extraterrestrial life. And I say that carefully because they didn't confirm it, but they said that this was technology not from the United States and not from our partners, right? So this was technology that they could not recreate themselves. They had no knowledge of. They had no idea where it came from. Top of that, this was technology that was way advanced, the highest of our technological stages in the military, right? And if that doesn't send shivers down your spine as being as part of the American population, to think that if this isn't from an extraterrestrial thing, that some nation has technology that is so far advanced from us that we don't even know how to identify it, that it's moving in and out of oceans, and it's moving at light speed, and it's using this thing called anti-gravity that can make it move from point A to point B like that should scare you. And so what I mean is that if the government is willing to allow this discussion to happen within the American population, you also have to acknowledge the fact that there are programs within the United States government that are being secretly kept, i.e. the Men in Black. If you don't think there are departments within our United States government that are keeping an eye on these things, that are the Men in Black, because there is one story that reminds me that's similar to what you're talking about that still doesn't sit right with me. There's a CCTV camera about this figure, these people that had noticed some sort of extraterrestrial thing. And it was this town that was going through a lot of these, having these experiences. They were seeing these UFO sightings. They were seeing a lot of these things they couldn't explain. And this hotel, I believe, if I'm not getting the story mixed up, had some sort of video evidence of this extraterrestrial thing. It had video of it. And a couple days later, these men come in wearing suits and ties, dressed in trench coats. And they're tall, they're lengthy, but they don't almost seem like human. They're just tall, lengthy, their skin looks like wax. But they come in and they ask for these videos. And they took these videos and they took them away from the establishment, and they flashed these badges that are part of the United States government, and they confiscated these videos. And there's CCTV videos of these people, of these Men in Black coming in. And they don't have any features. They're wearing sunglasses, they have hats on, they're wearing trench coats in the middle of the fucking summer, right? But I think those are real cases, dude. I feel like there are people out there that are like trying to keep these secrets hidden. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, dude, imagine, like, it boggles my mind, dude, because, like, when people used to talk about, like aliens and extraterrestrials, we used to call, you're fucking crazy, you're fucking wild, that's not real. And then the government comes out and says, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were right. You were right the entire time.
Yeah.
The entire time we thought we were calling you crazy, and you said, oh, don't believe everything you were right, and some. And it's scary to think that not even our government really knows what's going on, how powerful these things are.
Do you think that they were trying to like kill you guys that night?
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, I talked to the guys that saw it later on, and they were like, Like I was like, hey, did they aim it at us or anything? Like were did they look like they have the intent to like just air us the fuck out? And he goes, no, bro, I just saw the gun, and I panicked. And he was like, they were just talking, and I think like one of them put the gun back in his like case, but it was just a fact. And like keep in mind, like he said that he put it back in his case like before we even skirt off, and I talked to him more about it, and I don't know. I mean, I think if they did have the intent, they would have just pulled it out, right then and there. They wouldn't, pull it out, load it in front of us.
What
type
do you
stuff.
think? Do you think they were trying to keep something hidden, or do you think they're like, or what do you think the whole point of that was?
Just maybe scare you to not say anything about it. Alright, we got it, boys.
Oh, we got it. Hey, go and roll them out. We got it.
No, dude, I just think it was really weird. Like, and you know what? Like, I know this is off topic, but I kind of thought about this yesterday. When the entire FBI showed up to the wedding reception.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's another story for another time. But yeah, I thought that was really weird too. I kind of thought about that story, but I mean, it could have been a scare tactic. But I mean, I don't know, dude. I heard gun. So instantly, with everything that's been happening in the U.S., like shootings and everything, obviously if you hear gun,
Yeah.
it means go.
I don't.
Like-
I think it's also really interesting to think about like what you guys saw on that mountaintop, dude. I mean, Mancha, you've been up the highway. You've been up 74 a lot of times. You ever seen anything like that?
I've been on the cross too. That's where I was thinking where you were saying the yin yang.
Yeah.
It's on the other side. Like
Oh, yeah, I know what you're
I was
talking
like, which
about.
way was he going? So you went like past it. Then
Yeah, I
came back
went.
down?
So you go past it, right? There's a cross, and then
Yeah.
you go like a little bit down the mountain, and then you take a left.
Yeah, where it turns to like concrete.
Yeah,
Okay, that's where I was like,
yeah, that's the concrete.
Have you ever seen anything up there? I mean, you've been up there late at night before, haven't you?
Yo,
but the houses up there are like creepy though. Like,
this is something that I totally forgot to fucking mention. So look at, like a few months after that, me and a guy that I met, that we when we were doing like film work out in LA and stuff, we went up the mountain. We went up 74, right? And it was like 4 a.m. again. And we went up there to like a trail, and we were gonna go smoke and like, just kick it. We get to this trail, dude, and it's just so fucking eerie. And like we ended up parking in this little like lot, and this is in like Idlewild. And we ended up parking, right? And we both got out of the car, and we're standing there, and like there's a bunch of bushes right there, and like we heard like what sounded like little footsteps, almost like a kid was like running. And then when we noticed it and acknowledged it, it dead silent. And then we try to scare it off. We were like, oh, we have a gun, this and that, and it felt weird. So we ended up leaving, and we were just looking for another trail to go blaze it up at. And at this point, the sun's up. There's light outside, not a lot, but there's light. And we found this specific trail that's in like the upper part of Idlewild.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, dude, the amount of like signs to this trail was stupid. Like there was one on every corner, every street, every building, like just everywhere. Like almost abnormal. Like it shouldn't be normal. And he pointed it out. He's like, dude, like there's a lot of fucking specific signs for this one trail. And I mean, like there'd be 3 on one street for that one trail.
Yeah.
And we're going up this trail, dude. And like, I start to like have like, you ever have like, you know what a panic attack feels like, right?
Yeah.
Like when you start to like, and like really like work yourself up. I started to feel that way as we were getting closer to the trail. And for some reason, I just stopped before we entered the trail, like the parking lot trail. And he's like, bro, thank you so fucking much, bro, because I was like actually about to scream. Something doesn't feel right. You need to turn around right now. And I was like, okay, cool. I was feeling the same fucking vibe.
Yeah.
So we turn around, dude, and like it just seemed like something was trying to stop us.
Yeah.
Because a car pulls out, we almost hit it. So we wait for it, right? And they back up, and it's taking forever, dude. It feels like years. And then we go, and then there's like this old man trying to cross the street, and then out of nowhere we're going again, and then there's like a bunny that comes out and stops in the middle of the road, like actually stops in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And we had to go around it, and we're like, dude, what the fuck, this is so weird.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, this Idlewild is known to be on an Indian reservation.
Yeah.
So we're just like tweaking, dude. We're actually tweaking. And we go to this gas station, right? And it's dead quiet, dead empty. Nobody's out. And I think we were tripping about the name. I think it was called like Angel View or something Angel. But it just had a weird... Oh, no, it was like Spirit Light. It said Spirit. And we were just like, oh, like funny enough, just kind of, trippy. And I guess he went to go like get gas or whatever. He was trying to go inside. And he tells me, he's like, dude, I don't know if it's a surfboard. I don't know if it's just a bag of luggage or what, but there's a bag that looks like it has a body in it. And there's duct tape on it. And I was like, what? And we checked it out, and I could see why it looked like a body. I don't think it was. I think it might have been like, like plywood or something. But it looked like a body. And so we were just getting sketched the fuck out, dude. So we ended up leaving, and he fell asleep. And as I was on my way down, there's the sign just before you enter like the Idlewild area, and it says something Indian reservation. And dude, there was a trail of dead bunnies in the road.
What?
Yeah, and we ended up just going like past and whatever, and we drove down. And he wakes up and he goes, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "What?" And he looks at the window. He's like, "Look at this shit, bro." And there's a fucking kid's handprint on the window.
Nah.
No way.
Yeah, and you remember the Nissan that I told you about that I drove? It was that car.
The one that had all the problems and shit?
Yeah, the one that had... And the problems didn't start happening until I came down from that mountain.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
Dog, I fit.
That's like witchcraft, right? That
Dude,
has to be, like,
honestly,
some
I
type of,
just...
like, witchcraft.
I'm just negative energy, bro. Honestly, that's such a trippy ass story because it's like almost like I've had similar instances like that, dude. Like when I went to Big Bear, and it's like the reason mine's so different from your story, but it's like similar in the sense of like wilderness. This was broad daylight, dude. I was with my entire family. We're in Big Bear. We're like, oh, let's go to a hiking trail. So we went hiking. It was, again, broad daylight. Like we're talking the middle of the fucking day. Like, but like we went to this hiking trail, and the only way to get there was to go through this sketchy ass single road. And keep in mind, we're in this big truck, and we're climbing, and we're fucking on the edge. And if like something were to happen, like dirt were to give out, we're fucking tumbling down that bitch. And so we're going up this thing. It looks like we're never gonna get through it. And then finally we pop out, and we're finally on this edgeway. And we're like one of the only cars here. There's like 3 or 4 cars, there. And so we get out and we get settled in. We start hiking into the wilderness. And for those who like never been out there, there's just something eerie about being out there. There's some people that love it, that love the quietness, but it's almost like too quiet. It's almost like it's just like you don't realize how loud your settings are until you get into an area where there's almost nothing.
I mean, no crickets, no birds, no frogs, nothing.
And so we're hiking on this trail, and it's a pretty big trail, and it's we're almost going off the forge path. We're just kind of making our own way through, and again, it's broad daylight, big trees surrounding us. And I remember just kind of going away from my family a little bit, and I go on this big rock, and I climb up this big rock, and I climb on the very top of it, and I'm standing on top of this hill, and I just get this eerie feeling as if something's watching me. And so I'm looking around, I'm trying to figure out, like, why the fuck do I feel like someone's watching me right now? It's like, I don't hear my family's voice. Even though they were, like, right next to me, I don't hear them. I don't hear anything. I don't hear branches. I don't hear birds. I don't hear anything. Like, I literally felt like I was in a fucking vacuum. I don't hear anything at all. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on right now? So I'm, like, calling around, and I'm calling out my sister's name. I'm calling out my dad's name. I'm calling out my mom's name, and nobody's answering me. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And so I come back down the hill, and they're right there. They're like right in the hill. I'm like, you guys didn't hear me calling you? Like, no, we didn't hear you at all. Like, we didn't hear a single thing. I was like, I called all of your guys' name. Like, I was like screaming your guys' name. And like, no, we didn't hear anything. And I was like, dude, like that to me. And I was like, broad daylight, it was just eerie. And I feel like these extraterrestrial places almost feed off that isolation, feed off that kind of area.
But yeah, as I was saying, it was it was just really odd. But once I removed said person from my life, things started to get way better. And I feel like
Yeah.
I mean, like when we were there was a couple instances, you know, with like some of the things that he did. I felt like it was more of like a disrespect thing to like the land, maybe.
Yeah.
Because like I carry respect with everything, you
Yeah.
know, because you never know with anything. But you know, it was just really weird. I removed said person from my life. Things got a lot better, and it was just really odd occurrence.
Yeah, that's really trippy.
No.
That would have tripped.
It's almost crazy how many signs that were put in front of you guys about this trail. It's almost something like it's like something negative was trying to draw you in there.
Yeah.
And it was like a battle between light and evil, trying to like keep you from going there, but also draw you from inside of there.
To me, it kind of makes me feel like the signs were like trying to lead you in a direction, but also trying to make you feel like safe.
Yeah.
Like hey, yeah, like, you're going the right way. Like, come
Yeah.
on, keep coming.
Yeah, keep on going this way, and all subtle reminders like, yep, to go this way, come this way, come this way, come this way.
Exactly.
Again, like an innocence thing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's okay, you know, like you're going the right way. This is where you need to be. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It's so eerie, dude, because like I've been up there in Idlewild, and Idlewild is such a beautiful place, but it's also some of the scariest places.
It
It's
is very
super,
scary.
super trippy. And I say that because
Same
even
with
like,
Joshua too.
and it's like a lot of that is all where like Native American land was, you know, especially around this area. A lot of a Native American land. My parents always call me crazy because I feel like this house is haunted. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like this area is haunted, and they're like, what are you talking about? Like we built, like this house is built, like there's nobody that. I'm like, yeah, but like also this land, like this isn't like this was land that like the Native Americans owned, and like you don't know, this might have been a graveyard for all we know.
Yeah.
This might have been like a sacred area. This might have been like a place of healing or a place of, you know,
Worship too.
Exactly.
And I've seen things like that, like, you know, when Native Americans like lost their land, you know, on some lands they would put like rituals,
Yeah.
like where like skinwalkers to like walk the night at these like certain times for this land.
Yeah.
To like kind of like whoever like inherits this land is going to deal with like this extraterrestrial life.
Yeah.
And you know what,
Super
dude?
crazy.
On a different video, I have not really a story, but like a weird occurrence on the PGA West golf course when I was fishing there
Yeah.
at night. So I'll definitely share that on
Yeah,
a
I mean
different video.
the whole Coachella Valley is all rich with, you know, Native American land, and there's a lot of rich history here, and I think with that rich history, there's also have to be an understanding of, you know, the Native American cultures was one to be understood and be treated with respect, and you have to be careful, man. And it's like, especially when you're traveling to those types of places where it's like kind of uncharted ground. And it's those kind of instances where it's like isolate and it's just like not much going on, and it's almost that vulnerability aspect where it's like you almost second guess your better judgment. I'm like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't like do this. Maybe I should, because I've been in a couple of situations where I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't be in this situation right now. And like I call back to like that trip up in Idlewild where I was coming down the hill and it's just dead at night and it's just eerie. It's something eerie about it, and it shouldn't be eerie. But it's just eerie. It's almost just kind of a weird feeling, and I don't know. It's definitely something to be discussed, and it's definitely a fucking trip. I don't know, man. That was a crazy ass fucking story.
And you know what? Just to spice it up a little bit, just before we head out, I have exactly what we're talking about. My mom did a investigation on a Native American ground, and there's a church on there.
Yeah.
She caught what we're talking about, said like spirit or like guardian that stood in front of a priest. And I have the picture here, and I can share it, but this is right here, right? This picture is like a split second, like very split second, like it's a composition of multiple pictures in one.
Yeah.
So this is the first one. That's the second. That's the priest up there in the red shirt. So here, let me turn up the brightness. That's the priest up there in the red shirt. Right there.
Yeah.
The bald guy.
Oh shit!
Wow.
Look how tall it is.
Wow.
You seen it much?
Look at. So that's the first photo. Zoom in. Right?
Yeah, there's nothing right there.
There's nothing in front of the priest, right? He's giving a little sermon.
It's like watching him.
Yeah.
Like almost like looking down at him.
Like
That's
licking his head.
crazy. Dog, fuck, dude. Fuck, man.
If this ain't spooky season, I don't know what.
And you know what? My and we can point this out too, but basically what my mom had noticed is like look at this guy right here too. Cuz basically where that figure is standing is almost like it looks like almost if it's in the aisle, right?
Yeah.
Like you can see an aisle right here. If you look, he actually turns as if he sees something.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Cuz look at, you see how the chair is covered?
Oh yeah. That's super interesting, man, because I feel like we have that kind of keen sense when we notice something's there. Dude, I don't know. It's a trip, bro.
Well, cuz it looks like a blur, it's like it's moving quick.
Yeah.
That's so interesting, man. And I think that's such a great point to like leave it off, man. It's like kind of like you have to decide, dude. I mean, I've been in many scary instances, and I've had to judge it, and who knows, man? Who knows? And that's why we just have to. I'm genuinely spooked out right now. Like I'm genuinely like, oh my, that's like a crazy ass story just about shit that's been going on. And I don't know, like if you have any, I would love to hear y'all scary stories. If you guys have scary stories, if you guys have things that have happened to you, I don't care if it's small. I don't care if it's a plate that moved 2 inches from the table. Share it down in the comments. And I'm telling you, we want to keep this whole spooky Halloween thing going for this entire month. So we have another 10 days, 18 days of this Halloween. So I'd love to get another. We're still doing our Halloween special. We're gonna get that out for you guys as well. What the fuck was that?
Do you hear that?
Yeah, you heard that.
Oh yeah, sorry, that was me.
Oh, okay. I sound like.
No. Carbonation.
Now you got me fucking.
No.
But no, we definitely have a Halloween special coming out. We're gonna do the same thing we did last year, 1 year anniversary. So like I said, if you guys have any spooky, scary stories, freaky sheet stories as well, you getting freaky in bed, and share those as well.
Dressing up for sure.
But yeah, I'm genuinely freaked out right now. How do you
Me
get?
too. I don't think I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight. I think I need to go like spend the night at Montrose or something.
Hey, Austin, I'm staying tonight, my boy. Shit might get freaky, but awesome.
But I feel like this was a good episode. I like this episode. And for all fucking haters out there, by the way, you fucking broke bitch motherfucker. We just been getting hate out of nowhere, motherfucker. We're trying, dog.
Hey,
We're trying, bro.
That's what happens.
If you don't have haters, you ain't doing it right.
Motherfucker just woke up and like, motherfucker, you do something, bro. Like, at least we putting ourselves out there.
I am, bro. I'm jacking off eating a bowl of cereal at my mom's house, dude.
Like, these motherfuckers are vicious, dog. And some of them comments are eating, too, bro. Like, they're good. Like, they're good, bro. Like, I'm like, damn, I don't even know what to say to that, bro. Like, your mom, bro. Like, but, I mean, I don't know. I don't take it too hard, but it is what it is. I do this for a fucking hobby, not a living. You know what I'm saying? I do this for fun. We do this all for fun. But we also, like, when we want to keep people entertained, bro. So if this is not for you, dog, it's not for you. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be for everybody. We know we're not going to be fans of everybody. But, I mean, if you're taking time out of your day to fucking go there and type a fucking comment that is hateful, like, you need to find God, bro. You need to get right with yours.
Facts, bro. Facts.
Take it from me. Get baptized and blessed.
I know they watched the whole clip, and I know they were like,
what can I say?
I gotta say something.
I know, and it's just like, dude, come on, bro. Really, you really took time out of your day to say some fucking. Some of them are just stupid. Like, some of them are just like, dude, like, what the fuck? And like, you look at their page, and it's like some fucking dude in his garage, and it's fucking just like, subscribe to one thing, and it's fucking, dude, like your comment shouldn't affect me this much, but it is.
But it is. But I really take it to heart, and now I'm depressed.
And I think a part of it is just because we've been getting so like positive comments that when we get like some of the negative ones, it's kind of like it's like,
this is definitely a first for us because I mean we started off with a bunch of positivity,
and now it's just like, y'all suck.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Y'all, hang it up.
Hang it up.
Find another job.
Just like y'all picked up that mic, pick up an application.
That shit ate.
That shit ate.
I almost pinned that.
So just know we're doing it for y'all. Like I said, this is for entertainment, y'all. If y'all finding entertainment out of this, we appreciate y'all taking time out of your day to watch this. If you guys have anything hateful or loving to say, please leave it anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like we love all the interactions, good or bad. You know what I'm saying? So We appreciate you guys. Hope y'all are staying safe. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. It's a little bit different. Some of our people that subscribe for us to be supernatural, stick with us. We got some supernatural content coming out. We love y'all. Like always, baby. We'll see you guys in the next one. 3 Cases out.